loves, welcome back to my channel, Mystic Magic. I'm super excited to bring to you today's video. We are going to be finding out who you'll be in a future incarnation. Keep in mind that we have a lot of different incarnations and have multiple lifetimes. So some of the messages may resonate with your current life, some of it may not resonate at all. Both are okay. You also may have messages in more than one group, so if you're drawn to more than one pile, that's totally fine. And always remember, at the end of the day, we always have free will, so truthfully, this is just one potential outcome of what this future incarnation can be. So I know past life readings are really popular and I've done one as well. I will link it down below for you in case you're curious. That's one video where I actually remember each of the different piles and like different messages and things that came through, because usually as soon as I'm done filming, I have no idea what I said. I don't remember anything, but that is one video that has always stood out to me. So I was inspired to do something a little different. I haven't really seen anyone do a video on a future incarnation. I'm sure it's out there, but I just haven't seen it personally. So I'm really excited. I actually took the exact same layout and format that I used in the past life reading, and I'm going to use it again today. So let me give you a quick breakdown on what exactly it is we're going to be looking at. I'm going to refer to my sticky note that has all the information on it. So we are going to be taking a look at your light and shadow attributes, your family life, your occupation, love life, what society was like, your biggest challenge and blessing, the lesson that's to be learned in this incarnation, a special message from the future you to the current you. We're also going to be finding out why this specific incarnation is coming through at this time, and then anything else that you need to know about this future incarnation. So I'm really excited. I have 4 piles prepared for you to choose from today. Over here on pile 1, we have some honey calcite and we have the ancient Italian tarot. On pile number 2, we have the rainbow moonstone, as well as the, I always forget what this one's called. Hold on. This is the Luminous Spirit Tarot deck. And then on pile number 3, we have some Galaxite, as well as the El Dios de los Tres Tarot. And on pile number 4, we have this Lapis Lazuli Tower and the new Mythic Tarot. So feel free to pause the video if you need some more time figuring out which group you're the most drawn towards. And then once you've chosen, you can scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment and skip ahead to your reading. Remember that tarot is just a tool that reads the current energy, and energy is always changing. So remember that you have free will and the power to create change. This is a general reading, so take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. Don't try to force all the messages to fit for you and your life. There could simply just be messages here that are meant for other people watching that just aren't meant for you. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hey there, pile 1. If you chose the honey calcite and the ancient Italian tarot, welcome to your reading. We are going to be finding out who you will be in a future incarnation. So, as you can see, I have a spread already laid out for you with your cards. If you missed the intro, I went through all of the different topics that we're going to cover. But before we get into the cards, when I was preparing for this pile, it was interesting because I kept being taken to Babylon and Mesopotamia, which I know are ancient civilizations, and I know this is like this is a future incarnation that we're talking about. But time's not linear, so I don't know. It could also be talking about that geography. So I believe that would be somewhere in the Middle East, if I'm not mistaken. At least Mesopotamia. I don't know about Babylon. I'm not good at history. I'm not good at geography. So you'll have to forgive me on that. But I was picking up that energy, and I was seeing like sand and ocean and a lot of heat, and I was also hearing lonely, so it was making me feel like a desert or something like that, which, you know, that would fall in line with what we were just talking about. So we're gonna go ahead and get straight on into it. First, we're gonna be taking a look at what your personality will be like in this future incarnation. So first, we're gonna find out what the light attributes to your personality are. Wow, so we have the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Actually, really quickly before I get into this card, your crystal here, the color of it is really sticking out to me. It's like, it's reminding me of the color of sand. So in this future incarnation, I definitely feel like you live somewhere where there's desert or coastline, where there's sand and water meeting. And again, I'm like, I feel like it's somewhere hot, especially with this fire here. It's really sticking out to me. But so, okay, in terms of your light attributes to your personality, I feel like you're the type who's really happy-go-lucky, who is just very blessed and fortunate in a number of areas. I'm picking up like multi-talented, multifaceted, educated, well-traveled. There's like a sophistication here, but there's also this element of like a deep connection to your inner child, because there's a lot of enthusiasm and curiosity that I'm picking up too. The Midas touch is what I'm hearing. So it's like you just have this lucky energy to you, where it's like anything that you touch turns to gold. Anything that you invest in becomes successful. Any kind of career move that you make ends up paying off well. And I'm also really being taken to the figure who's on the top of the wheel here, and I feel like that's you. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. We're going to be getting into your occupation later, but I'm already kind of getting some like career messages coming through, because like I just said, this figure on top is really sticking out to me. And we have the number 10 here, and it brought me to the 10th house in astrology, which actually sits at the top of the zodiac wheel. So I feel like you're particularly blessed when it comes to your career, your status, and your reputation. I feel like you are someone who will be very well known. Like whereas others have to fight and climb and really pay their dues to get to the top, it's like I feel like you would have gone through that in other lifetimes, and this particular incarnation, it's like you're at the top. You're starting from the top, which is pretty crazy. And I'm being taken back to this curious energy about you. And I feel like this is where the luck comes in, because people on the outside looking in see you going down these seemingly random paths or going into different random things, and they're like, oh, pile one, like they're back on their bullshit again. They're like, you know, on their antics, doing all this like crazy different stuff, but somehow it always works out for you. And it's like, what the hell? Like, how does pile one go into all these different things that seemingly have no connection, or like that wouldn't seem profitable, that wouldn't seem worth it, and it ends up being really successful, really abundant, or it works out amazingly? How do you do that, pile one? So this is an energy that I'm picking up when it comes to your light attributes to your personality. Wow, okay. We're starting off with a bang here. Let's take a look and see what the shadow aspects of your personality will be. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. This is really interesting because, again, I'm being taken to your career. So something that I'm seeing here, having the Nine of Pentacles coming through as a shadow attribute for you in this future incarnation, is that you will be someone whose main priority and focus is on money, is on the material world, is on your career, wealth, things like this. I feel like you are going to be someone who's very business oriented and there's a practical side to you that you may be less in touch with your emotions, or maybe less comfortable going there. You seem to be more comfortable in the business world, in the world of practical things, when it comes to creating businesses or generating money, generating wealth for yourself. Something else that I'm picking up in the shadow is I feel like there will be certain experiences or struggles that you go through that make you question your self-worth and your self-esteem. So troubles with confidence is something that I'm seeing will have to be overcome, because it's no doubt that you are, or you will be, super talented in many different things. But I'm picking up this element of self-doubt or insecurity that would have been projected onto you when you were younger. And this could really impact you because, you know, things can go different ways, because at the end of the day, we have free will, right? So someone who's struggled with self-doubt or insecurity or confidence issues, they may not overcome that, or it may take a really long time to overcome it. And if they do overcome it, you know, that can create such big change in this person's life. So I feel like this is like the main shadow attribute that wants to come out is any struggles with self-doubt or confidence, because I feel like not everyone is going to be on board with your different ideas and things like this, and that may make you doubt yourself or doubt your ideas, or you may want to not move forward with certain things because of what other people have said or how they try to make you feel. I'm also picking up this devil energy from this Nine of Pentacles, which is interesting because it's really taking me back to that materialism. So you could be in this incarnation, in this future incarnation, overly focused on the material world, overly focused on your business, on your career, on making money, that perhaps you neglect other areas of your life, which we're going to get into in a minute. But for example, like maybe you are so focused on your business that maybe you never really date around, okay? And maybe you lack having a romantic connection with someone. Just an example, but we are gonna now take a look at your family life, because I'm interested to see what that dynamic is. So we have the Chariot coming through representing your family. Okay. this is making a lot of sense. So in this future incarnation, you will be coming from a family of trailblazers. You're going to be a descendant of people who have really paved their own path and have done incredible things. And I'm not... One specific area that I'm picking up on is like the medical field, but that doesn't... I'm also picking up this element of like, not everyone is in the same industry. So you know how sometimes it's really typical for like, you know, everyone in the family is a doctor, or everyone's a lawyer, or, you know, this or that. I feel like in this situation, it's like everyone is different. So there could be a really successful chef. There could be a successful writer. There could be a successful musician. Okay, but nonetheless, what I'm picking up on from this family card here with the Chariot is that there is a supportive nature to really pursue and go after your dreams, even if those dreams are, you know, different from your parents or different from your siblings. But now I can see why we had the Nine of Pentacles coming through as your shadow, and these messages of doubt or insecurity, things like that, because it feels like, you know, a lot of pressure. Now, I'm not necessarily picking up that it's your family who's putting the pressure on you to be as successful as them, but it's just pressure that you feel like, wow, you know, my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my siblings, they're all out here killing it in their, you know, respective industry or path. I have a big family name to live up to. Like, what am I gonna do that, you know, I can make my family proud, or I can stand out and shine just like they are? And what's interesting about this specific Chariot card is that both horses are white. Usually there's a white one and a black one to represent the light and shadow, but there's just two white horses here. So I do feel like you will overcome this Nine of Pentacles self-doubt kind of energy. And I'm also getting this message that there could be a specific talent or something like this that comes from your maternal side of the family. That comes from your maternal side of the family. So this is going to be different for everybody, but it's like something that you got from your mother's side, and she got it from her mother, and she got it from her mother, so on and so forth. And again, I'm not picking up a lot of emotion coming through. It feels like even though everyone's supportive, there feels like there's a lack of intimacy. I feel like what you and your family will really bond over is your shared ambition, your shared talent, whatever it is, your big visions, your business mindset. And I feel like most of the time talk is about business, or talk is about, you know, the next big thing, having plans, etc., etc. But you may not really talk about like your deepest fears, or, you know, something that's worrying you. I'm almost picking up this energy of like wanting to put on a brave face, or always wanting to kind of seem like you have things together, or that you're always on the up. Okay, wow, really interesting. And I'm also getting this message of like, you could have moved around a lot when you were younger. Like, I'm getting this specific scenario of someone's parent being in the army and like having to move around a lot, or someone's parent having a certain type of job or career that cause them to have to travel a lot and be away from home, or, you know, the whole family unit could have moved around a lot, which really ties into this energy that I was picking up at the beginning of travel and things like that. Wow, okay. Now let's take a look and see what your occupation may be in this future incarnation. We have the Six of Pentacles. I'm not surprised that we have more pentacles here. A big aspect of what your occupation will be in this future incarnation is being philanthropic. There's a really big aspect of this where you are giving back. So maybe you run some successful charities or nonprofits, or maybe this is something you help others do, like a consultant or something to this nature. But whatever this is, there's a really big generosity involved. Whether this is giving money back or investing a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of resources into this project. And it definitely feels like something that you're passionate about, because when we're passionate about things, it makes us want to give. It makes us want to share. We do it without thinking, you know what I mean? And if it was something that you were less interested in, or if it was like, you know, a job that you hate or something like that, you're not going to want to invest in it the same way as you would as when you're passionate, right? Like if we had the 10 of Wands here or something, I would say maybe, you know, this occupation is something that takes a toll on you. But having the Six of Pentacles here tells me that this is something that really fills you up and makes you feel good. If it makes you feel good to give back. So if you've, you know, accumulated a lot of wisdom or knowledge during your travels or during your education or studies, it's like you're excited to share this with others. So I can see you being a teacher of some sort, whether it's in the traditional role or in a more non-traditional format. I'm picking up this like third house mercurial energy where it's like you disseminate information, spread resources. You could also be something else that I'm picking up is like an angel investor or an investor, something like this. Like I'm picturing something like Shark Tank, you know, where it's like people are pitching their business, they're pitching their ideas, and you are an investor into that. Or you know, yeah, like consultant keeps coming up, like just sharing your wisdom and helping others get to the place that they want to be. Now let's take a look and see what your love life will be like. And we have the Devil. Okay. So this is what I was picking up before, because I feel like you're so focused on this work, especially because it's something that you're truly passionate about, that your love life may struggle. Maybe that's on the back burner. Maybe it's not a priority for some of you. But I do feel like there will be some struggles when it comes to love and romance. So it's not to say that like, oh, you're going to be single forever, or like, oh, you're going to be miserable. Not necessarily, but I do feel like there will be certain connections or a significant relationship that really changes things for you. This could be a karmic connection. This could be a codependent connection. This could just be a situation that isn't compatible or isn't healthy and just didn't end well, and maybe a bad experience leads you to move away from that aspect of your life and devote yourself to your work instead. This could also represent inner demons, inner struggles that you have. So it may not be that you actually have, a bad relationship where, things happen and then you have trust issues and then you don't want to date anymore. This could be internal. Okay, coming back to this aspect of self-doubt and having some confidence issues, that's something that could also prevent you from really connecting with the right people, or even prevent you from putting yourself out there at all. I could see this pile being more about maybe having flings, having shorter term connections, or maybe having open connections, purely physical connections, but not very emotional, intimate, or deep commitment in that sense. It's like I'm getting this visual of two people sitting on a couch, and it's like, okay, there's a guy and a girl, and the girl's talking to the guy, and the guy's not really listening because he's on his phone answering work emails. So it's like, that's kind of how I'm feeling, where it's like, you may have it, or you may have connections, but it still never really feels like the priority or the focus. It's like, I feel like for you, things just always end up coming back to your work and your career. So let's see what society was like in this future incarnation. And we have the Hierophant. Okay. So the society that you live in this future incarnation could be one that is quite religious, or where religion plays a very big role in the culture and the daily life. But this could also represent, because I was picking up from the very beginning, this element of education and travel. So institutions play a really big role here. I also just heard prison. But not in the way of like, you are literally going to be going to prison, but it's like you may work with the prison system. You may work with people who have been in prison and who've come out, or who are currently in prison. Back to this like philanthropic business occupation that you have. It's like, yes, there's something about institution and authority figures in this society. There's a strictness about it. There's a status quo about it, where it's like you're expected to follow things the way that they are, and people who, do things differently are looked at kind of strangely. Now, I'm not picking up that it's so extreme where it's like you are outcast or exiled or anything like that, but at the very least, I feel like you and your family, because you're all going to be trailblazers and doing so many different things, it's like people may look at you funny, look at you strange, like, maybe feel a bit weird about you until they see what you're doing. And it's like, oh, only pile one could do that. Or like, oh, Like, okay, you know how it's coming through? It's kind of like the Weasleys in Harry Potter, where there's a lot of them and they're all like kind of different. And which movie was it? Whichever movie, I think it was the second one where Ginny finally goes to Hogwarts and then Draco's like red hair and a hand-me-down robe. Oh, she must be a Weasley. It's like kind of like that, but not in such a negative way, where it's just like you stick out because you're different, and because of that, people are going to talk, people are going to look, people are going to question, and that's fairly normal, even if it doesn't, you know, necessarily feel good. I'm also getting this message of like the talk of the town, and like word goes around fast. So this could be maybe a smaller city or a smaller town that you're living in or grow up in, where everyone just kind of knows everyone's business. Or you could be in an area or an industry where communication is hot, you know, like I'm thinking about entertainment, I'm thinking about journalism, social media, different things like that. But there's absolutely this element of like, most people look to a certain prototype of how they should live, how they should behave, what they should do, how their life should play out. And I feel like that's not you. Okay? That's not you. You're not following what everyone else is doing. You're making your own path. So I feel like you might have a hard time or struggle at times with how you are and how you want to live your life versus the society that you're living in. Like, you may feel like, I don't understand why everyone is doing this, or everyone's acting like this, or everyone believes this. Like, why can't people think for themselves? Why can't people, you know, just do what they want to do instead of following this set path for them? So I feel like this actually really fuels your drive to accomplish what you've set out to do, because it's like, it feels like you're taking a big risk because it's so outside of the norm to do something like that. So it's like a lot's riding on this. I have to make it happen. You know, because if I don't, then people are going to think that I'm crazy, or people are going to, you know, look at me weird, or people will judge my family. So there's definitely a lot of pressure here. Okay, let's take a look at your biggest challenge, what your biggest challenge will be. And you actually got 2 cards coming out. Now, I was trying to only get 1 card for each of the different categories, but there's a couple instances in each of the groups where more than 1 card came out, but it just felt right. So let's see. We have the Fool and we have the 4 of Wands. So this is what your biggest challenge will be. The Fool and the 4 of Wands. Yeah. The biggest challenge is making a name for yourself. The biggest challenge is not being stuck in your family's shadow. Making a name for yourself. Literally breaking away from home. Going off and doing your own thing. Not following what others have laid out for you, but laying out your own path instead. And also finding a place or a person where you feel at home. Okay, so this ties in with the with this Devil card coming through in your love section. Because the Fool, there's definitely a detachment here. You know, the Fool is a lot of things, but I wouldn't say that the Fool is emotional. I would say that the Fool is intuitive, but the Fool doesn't actually know that he's intuitive, which is, you know, the whole point of the Fool being the Fool. So, yes, in summary, making a name for yourself that helps you to stand out from your family's name, and also finding a place or finding a person that you feel at home at. Okay, so yes, there's this nomadic energy with the Wheel of Fortune and the Fool coming out, like such strong energy of travel. Like, I feel like you'll be very nomadic. You may, whether or not you move around a lot in your childhood, you'll definitely do that as an adult, or like, you know, once you turn of age and you're an adult, like you'll go off and you may just travel to different places. Maybe you never put down roots anywhere. Maybe you, like, instead of having a home base, maybe you have like multiple properties and you move between them, or you just like every few months just travel to a different country or a different city and like experience that. And it doesn't feel like a case of indecision, like I don't know where I want to go, or I don't know what, you know, where I want to be rooted, but it feels more of like a fear of, maybe a fear of being stuck, a fear of feeling held back, or this could even be a fear of getting what you want and then it being taken away from you. So rather than experiencing that, it's like, I would rather just not have it at all. That way I can prevent myself from being hurt. Okay, wow. Now let's see what your biggest blessing will be. Oh, wow, we have the Ace of Cups. That's kind of ironic. Okay, the Ace of Cups, your biggest blessing. So, despite any challenges that you may have when it comes to love, or not really laying down roots, you're going to still experience a lot of emotional fulfillment. And I feel like this will come mostly through your work and your career. But I'm picking up that friendship will be very strong and very important for you in this incarnation. Like your family, your team, your colleagues, your networks. I feel like there's a lot of people that you know in this incarnation. Like, you're heavily connected. You know people in so many different countries, you know, all around the world. You can travel anywhere and probably know someone. And it's like you take your heart and you sprinkle it everywhere you go. And it's like you leave this trail behind, and you can revisit all of those little breadcrumbs that you've left, and it is a source of fulfillment and joy for you. I think that you will be extremely abundant in this lifetime, especially in a physical way, a lot of financial wealth and abundance, as well as an abundance of experiences. Like, I feel like you'll be at this level where you can pretty much do what you want. Like, you have the freedom to just do what you want. So it's like, okay, right now, I'm staying at this villa in the south of France and it's been great, but you know, I'm feeling a change of scenery, so I'm going to, you know, go spend some time in Dubai. Or, you know, I like the car that I had, but I'm kind of tired of it, so I'm going to go get a new car today. It's like, any kind of experiences, any kind of thing that you want, I feel like you will be in a position where you can actually do that. So there is a lot of joy and happiness and fulfillment. I'm just not really seeing that necessarily for romantic love, but I see it coming through in many other forms. Okay, let's take a look at what the lesson to be learned is in this future incarnation. We have Yeah, okay, we have the Two of Cups. The biggest lesson to be learned in this future incarnation is coming into union with your soulmate or with a significant person. This could also be coming into union with an aspect of yourself, your shadow, and really integrating that. Okay, because wow, this makes so much sense. We had the Chariot here, and I pointed out how there was two white horses, which is weird because it's usually white and black. And then we have the Devil, and we have the Two of Cups. Okay, so yes, the biggest lesson to be learned is balancing your light and your shadow, integrating them together, and in an external way, being able to come into union with connections that have a strong emotional foundation. Okay, whether it's romantic, whether it's forming deep friendships, whether it's connecting with family or with business partners, the biggest lesson is learning how to connect to others by first connecting with yourself. Okay. Now let's see what special message the future you from this incarnation has for current you. And we have the Page of Cups coming out. The future you really wants you to act on your intuition more. They really are encouraging you to take inspired action. Even if your ideas seem really out there, even if they seem really weird, if they're really eclectic, this future, oh my God, what am I trying to say? You in this future incarnation is really encouraging you to go for it. You were born to stand out of the box. It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. So they're saying if you feel like you're different, if you feel like you're weird, that's because you are. You were made to be unique. You weren't made to blend in and fit in. And they're really encouraging you to embrace that, because that is where a lot of your true fulfillment and joy and creativity, passion will come from. And that is how others will be able to see you better as well, because you're able to express what is truly in your heart, what is truly authentic to you, no matter how weird or strange it may seem. And now let's see why this particular future incarnation is coming through for you. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. So I think this future incarnation is coming through for you because I feel like you really need the support. You really need the encouragement. I feel like you feel like no one is in your corner or no one is clapping for you. You may struggle with feeling misunderstood or being misunderstood by others. Okay, because I'm being taken back to this Page of Cups here. So I think that the main reason this future incarnation is coming through is like to encourage you and to remind you that being different is a blessing, even though it can feel like a curse a lot of the time. And to remind you that you being different is your secret weapon. That's your secret sauce. And that is what's going to help you stand out and be successful. Like, I'm hearing if I could only turn back the time, or if I could only go back in time. Ooh, I have chills. Okay, let's take a look at your final card. This is going to represent anything else that you need to know about this future incarnation. We have the King of Cups. Yes. Okay. This also makes a lot of sense, because To me, the King of Cups always feels a little bit awkward. Out of all of the court cards, the King of Cups feels the most awkward to me because it's a masculine energy embodying a feminine suit. And again, this tells me that in this future incarnation, you may feel very uncomfortable expressing your emotions or showing your emotions. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be like this robot or, you know, very stoic or unexpressive person. But when it comes down to really being intimate and really, you know, pouring your heart out, putting your heart on your sleeve, telling people how you feel about them, telling people that you love them or that they hurt you or whatever the case, makes you really uncomfortable. Vulnerability makes you uncomfortable. And so there's this element of being so composed, of putting on this brave face, which I think I said before, because you want to come across as someone who has it all together, who's really brave and strong, and you are, or you will be, all of those things. But you don't want to let people into, you know, the darker moments, the heavier moments. You don't want people to know about the doubts and insecurities. You don't want people to see any inner turbulence or bad days or, you know, rough patches in your life. It's like you keep that all to yourself, and you're very selective with what you show to people or what people know about you. It's kind of like social media, you know, it's like we don't really post about our bad days. What you see on social media is a very conscious, strategic curation of moments of our life. And I'm getting that kind of energy with the King of Cups here. So pile one, this is everything that I'm seeing. I would really love if you could let me know down in the comments what you thought and how this resonated for you. Your reading was so interesting, and I hope that you found it interesting too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you for letting me read for you today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, pile two. If you chose the if you chose the Rainbow Moonstone and the Luminous Spirit Tarot, oh my god. Wow, okay. Welcome to your reading. I am super excited to get into this. Pile one was really interesting. If you want to know what the whole overview of the spread is, I talked about it in the intro. But before we get started with the cards, your group was the most mysterious when I was preparing for it. The other groups, I was, you know, having messages come through and was picking up on energy and stuff, but this group was really quiet. It was very, like it was peaceful and serene, but it was quiet. And it was very enigmatic. And when I was meditating before turning the camera on, I was being shown like someone standing in a crowd watching a spaceship take off, like a rocket. And, you know, they're like watching the rocket go up, and it goes smaller and smaller and smaller into the sky, and it just goes into space, and then it's gone. And it's like the energy that I was feeling was like this feeling of mystery, like, you know, I wonder what they see out there. I wonder how they feel. Like, what do they do? What does it look like? Like, you know, there's just like a lot of mystery. I'm getting really strong, like, high priestess energy for this group. Like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect. I'm really excited to see where this goes. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna first take a look at the light attributes to your personality. So let's see what we have. We have the Seven of Swords. That is so funny because here we are talking about mystery and like things being hidden, and we have the Seven of Swords coming up. Wow. And it's really interesting to get the Seven of Swords as a light attribute to your personality. So in this future incarnation, you're really strategic. I just got this reference to a military leader and the art of war. So there's a lot about strategy. You're very strategic. You are 10 steps ahead of everyone. It's like giving me Sherlock Holmes vibes, okay? Where you're very astute, very observant. You think things through. Oh, wow. There's just a hawk that flew by. Confirmation from Spirit. Oh, what was I saying? Yes, you think things through very, very well. And you're very intelligent, and that hawk just flew right back. Yes, you're very intelligent, you're very strategic, and it's interesting because it's not this kind of logic or intellect where I feel like you're imbalanced. I feel like you're actually really, really connected to your intuition as well. And it's like taking action on your intuition in very strategic ways. I just heard you leave no stone unturned. Like, are you a detective in this life? Like, what is going on here? This is like feeling so mysterious. Let's just keep going, okay? I want to see what the shadow aspect of your personality is. And we have the King of Swords. Wow. I just heard very cunning. Your words in this incarnation have the ability to uplift or destroy. You have a very sharp mind, you have a very sharp tongue, and you're not afraid to say it. Like, you'll be the person to say the thing that everyone's thinking, but doesn't have the guts to actually say. But it's like it feels like that, but it feels bigger. I don't know what this is. This isn't, I feel like you're involved in something. Like, I don't, I don't know. Like, this is feeling like federal detective shit, like like being in the NSA, being in the FBI, being a private investigator. Like, I don't know, but it feels big. It doesn't just feel like amongst your friends or your social circle, that you're very strategic with what you'll say and you'll tell people what's on your mind. Like, it feels serious. Like, there's something very serious about this. It has weight to it, and I feel like things that 99% of people don't know. It's like you're privy to certain information, or you're privy to certain something, or you're interested in uncovering this, like being a journalist that's, trying to uncover this, like, injustice or a certain thing that's going on. Like, really dedicated to finding out the truth or figuring out the story or something like that. But I also think with the King of Swords here that sometimes your mind can work against you. I keep being taken back to Sherlock Holmes. I watched Enola 2 a few weeks ago. Have you guys watched it? Like the first or the second one? What did you think of it? I really liked both of them. Henry Cavill is such a babe. Wow. Okay. Anyways. Yes, I think your mind can work against you sometimes because you're highly intelligent and perceptive. I feel like you sometimes fall victim to analysis paralysis, or maybe even being obsessed with trying to figure something out or trying to intellectualize something, trying to understand something, trying to uncover something. There's a really strong blend between having a strong ego, but also having some kind of like moral compass. Like, I'm seeing the Justice card right now, but I'm also picking up this ego energy of like, I need to be able to uncover this. Like, I need to break this story. I need to, win this game I'm playing. I need to come out on top. But that paired with like, I need to set things straight, or I need to do things right. I need to de-escalate the situation. I need to shed light on this situation. Like, I have a duty to protect my country, or I have a duty to share this story so that, this person's voice is heard. There's like, it's not just you. It's something bigger than that. Wow, okay. I know I was kind of getting off track there, but some interesting messages coming through. Let's take a look at what your family life will be like. We have the Knight of Wands. I feel like your family is... Okay, I just heard temperamental. I feel like there's a lot of energy in your family. I feel like in this lifetime you'll have a lot of siblings, or maybe a lot of cousins or something that you're close with and spend a lot of time with. But I'm picking up like a competitive spirit. Like, I don't know, like I'm just seeing a bunch of kids, breaking off into two groups and trying to build the best fort, or trying to build the best treehouse, trying to, win a race that they just set up, or like something like that. There's like a competitive energy that you grow up having. And this is part of what feeds your ambition and your drive to succeed. I also keep hearing there's something about like the father figure being hot-headed or something like that. But the family feels really adventurous and fun as well. Like, there's something with the dynamic of the family in astrological terms, because I feel like I know we have the Knight of Wands here, so it's making me feel like I'm picking up really strong fire sign energy. So it could be that like maybe everyone's a fire sign, like sun, moon, or rising. And so in some ways everyone really gets along, but in other ways people can clash, and there can be like, temperamentalness, arguing, heat, anger, things like that. But it's like, I feel like you guys also have fun at the same time, have that competitive energy. Like maybe you guys do adventurous things together as a family. Like you'll go camping, or you'll go, I don't know, like whitewater rafting, or do extreme sports like BMX, or I don't know, rock climbing, you know, climbing a mountain, things like that. It's like going off the beaten path and like doing things like that together. It's like you guys just love it. Like theme parks, yes. Because it feels like a lot of chaos. And part of it feels fun and part of it doesn't feel fun. So yeah, very interesting. Okay, let's see what your occupation may be in this future incarnation. We have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, it's like I'm being taken back to that message of like shedding light on something. Being the one to open a conversation, being the one to like I just heard whistleblower, being the one to break a story, uncover some information. It's like lighting the way so that others can follow. Whatever this is, you are so passionate about. Like I don't even think I can describe in words how this energy feels. Like pile 1 also was very passionate when it came to their occupation, but it's coming through in a totally different way here. This is like, you know, when you see people when they're younger, like, you know, I don't know, a teenager, when they're a kid or something, and you just know that they're gonna be somebody, like they're already who they came here to be. I get that with you. I feel like from as long as you'll be able to remember in this incarnation, it's like you will know exactly what you're doing here. There's no confusion. You're very clear on this. And that's what I was saying at the beginning, where yeah, you're very strategical and intelligent, but you're intuitive. You're really intuitive. And it's because you're connected to source. You have such a strong connection. Like, you know what your purpose is. You know what you came here to do. And it's like, you're always living authentically to that. And it's no different when it comes to your occupation. Oh, okay. So whatever this is, it's actually something that you've been... Okay, hold on. Whenever this future incarnation is, it's like you have already been doing it in previous lifetimes. Because in this Ace of Wands, you see this like spiral of smoke that's just like wrapping up this wand here till we get to the fire. The spiral, so it's like you keep revisiting this. It's like, you know, you started it in a certain lifetime, and I don't know if this is like consecutive lifetimes back to back, or like, you know, I don't know. But you've done it before, and your soul's been going on this journey. And I feel like in this future incarnation that we're talking about here, this is the one where you get to the top, where you finally get to the point that you were trying to get to. You know, it's like reaching the destination, reaching the pinnacle, doing what you came here to do, not just like the whole backstory to that moment. And I keep hearing branch off, so I think you're going to start off doing one thing, and it's not that you're gonna change your mind and go into something else, but it's like there's something else that will be coming from this that you may or may not be aware of. Okay, an example could be, let's say you're a journalist. So you go into journalism and like that's what you do and that's your thing. There could be an opportunity that comes up to create a nonprofit or a charity. And then that also becomes, you know, part of your mission and something that you're doing, but that's not what you're setting out to do. It's like you're setting out to do journalism and you're doing it and you'll continue to do it. But then there's this like side thing that happens that maybe you weren't planning for or weren't really aware of, but it ends up becoming significant too, and something that you dedicate yourself to. Whatever this is that you do, it'll inspire a lot of people. Yes, okay. So let's find out what your love life will be like. Oh, we have the 10 of Swords. Wow. And the imagery too. That's intense. Okay, so similar to group 1, love seems to be an area where there's a lot of pain, whether it's confronted or not. With the 10 of Swords being here, there's definitely a very difficult ending. This could have been like being betrayed or something like that, or just having like a really big conflict or something like that that just completely tears the relationship apart. And similar to group 1, it's like, because I picked up at the beginning that there wasn't a lot of emotion, and so now I can see why. It's because there was a lot of hurt and pain when it comes to certain relationships. This could even be not that you will have, you know, this very painful relationship, but it could be that maybe you saw your parents get divorced or something like that, because I was picking up very strong, like, you know, hot-headedness, heat, arguments, chaos, things like that. So maybe that's something that put you off of wanting to, you know, get married or find your person. Maybe you just kind of were like, yeah, like I've seen what it can do, and like I just don't want to do that to myself. For some of you, this is actually saying that you'll be overcoming this cycle that's been going on. Like maybe there's a lot of divorce in the family line, or you know, separation, or things not working out, and it's like you are clearing this ancestral karma or cycle by, you know, doing the healing, being really honest with yourself, having a spiritual awakening, and deciding that you were not going to be subject to that cycle, you know? And you're like, nope, not me, not today. Like, it may be hard to overcome that, but you may be the one to break this really difficult cycle in your family. So 2 very different messages, but that's what I'm seeing for love. Let's take a look at what society will be like in this future incarnation. We have the 3 of Swords. I just heard not seeing eye to eye. So more feeling of conflict. This is also reminding me of 1984, which is kind of funny because I literally had to say this in the previous group as well. There's a lot of similarities, but very different energy. But in both groups, there was a reference to the past, which I found kind of funny because we're talking about a future incarnation. And basically what I said is that time's not linear. So there you go. But okay, 1984. So this could be a society or part of the world where maybe there's a lot of surveillance, either like surveillance, keeping an eye on things. It kind of feels paranoid a little bit. Paranoid or suspicious about something or someone. It's like, it feels very compartmentalized, or that there's a lot of cliques, there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of opposition, and everyone is trying to fend for themselves. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, you could be a politician too. Okay, anyways. Yes, there's definitely a lot of conflict. I was just seeing, I don't know if you've probably seen this, like, you know, when you have a baseball bat or something and it's like someone throws it and catches it, and then the other person puts their hand and the other person puts their hand, and then you're trying to be like the top person. Or that game you would play as a kid where like someone puts their hand and you put your hand and you keep like going. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Anyways, I was just seeing that. So it's like, it feels like there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of like, I need to be on top, or we need to be on top, or we need to be in a position of strength. I also just got a reference to like cartels and things like that, but it's not like, I'm not saying that's what you're involved in unless you're like on a police force or something like that, or like border security or something of that nature, which kind of fits in line. So that's certainly possible. But what I was feeling more was like, just in terms of how there can be such strong division, and there's a lot of fear, a lot of worry. Everyone is, you know, just trying to survive, just trying to keep their group, you know, intact and on top. So it feels really intense. And again, like all of this energy and like the messages that are coming through, like I'm not getting anything about your personal life, you know, except for this family here. Like what you do in your spare time, what your hobbies are, your social circle. It's like, I'm not seeing a regular average life of like day-to-day stuff, like what your routine is, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym and like make a smoothie. No, this is like, this is a matter of national security, or like, this is a matter of, you know, something that involves so many people or something. Like, it's just like, it's really intense. It's really intense. Wow. All right. Let's take a look and see. This is your biggest challenge, the biggest challenge you'll be facing in this incarnation. And we have the Queen of Wands. Very interesting. Okay, this is interesting because this Queen of Wands is feeling like a love interest. I'm getting this scenario that's kind of like Romeo and Juliet, where maybe this Ten of Swords love situation is like, maybe you're in love with someone who's on the other side, who's like on the opposing team, which you could also be a professional athlete, okay? I don't know. Anyways. And it's like you want to be together, but you can't be together, and it's like this painful torment. Because that's what I'm picking up. Like, immediately this Queen of Wands, I was like, love interest, which I don't really get ever with the Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's definitely some kind of love interest. This is your biggest challenge. It's like you want to be with someone and you can't, or it's a secret and no one can know. Or maybe you lost this person or something. There's something like that. That's what your biggest challenge is. Okay, your biggest blessing. We have the Ace of Swords. Wow. Okay, some keywords that I'm hearing are like victory, justice, overcoming obstacles. Yeah, victorious. This is interesting. I'm also getting that your, like, the biggest blessing is actually your voice, your throat chakra, which is so interesting because this mercurial energy also came up in group 1, but again, very different. But speaking, writing, singing, performing, analytical, logical sharpness. Like your mind and your insights, your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom, your voice, your ability to communicate, to listen, is very much a blessing in this life, in this incarnation. And also, I just heard see right through me. I just realized we have all swords and wands here. So swords and wands are very compatible energy. This is masculine energy, and air feeds fire. It causes fire to grow. You are, in this future incarnation, you are going to very quickly move up. Like, when I say stuff like the FBI or something of national security or the military, it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like moving up the ranks. It's like you're on top, and it's like you're privy to stuff that the average person doesn't know. And you're very big. It's like you're very important, but you're not famous. Like, people, you know, you could walk down the street and no one's gonna be like, oh my God, there's that actor. Like, no, it's like, but the people who know, they know, you know what I mean? Okay, wow. Let's move on and see what your biggest lesson in this life will be. We have the Four of Pentacles. Letting go is the biggest lesson that you'll be learning. And that makes sense because I was picking up on like an obsessive energy when we had the King of Swords come out. So being able to let go of, you know, a case, like maybe like in the example of being a police officer or something, like maybe you're trying to solve a cold case and it like consumes you and you just can't seem to let it go. Something like that. Or letting go of this love situation or something like that. What's interesting is that I feel like in this future incarnation, you don't really have a feeling of regret because you've, you know, intellectualized why things have to be a certain way or why things happened a certain way. So there's not a lot of regret, but I feel like the lesson to be learned here is how to let go of things, situations, etc. All right. Now let's take a look at a special message from the you in this future incarnation to the current you. Now, I was only trying to get one card per category. And in a couple instances in all the groups, there were multiple cards that came out, and you actually got 3 cards that came out, but they really felt like your cards, so I took them. So let's see what this special message is. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the High Priestess. And wow, we have the Hermit too. Wow. And wasn't I saying at the beginning, like, feeling this High Priestess energy? Okay, let's see. A special message from you in this future incarnation to current you. Wow, this is really powerful. Okay. The message is, this is your destiny. Like, this is your calling. This is your North Node. With the Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess, and the Hermit, this is like deeply spiritual work that you're doing. Whether that doesn't mean that your career is going to be or has to be in the spiritual realm. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's like, this is your calling. It's like, yeah, that's what I was saying before. It's like, this is the lifetime where it happens, where it like finally happens. All the work that you've been putting into it. It's like, this is the lifetime that it happens. Yeah, you're shedding light on something or providing clarity on something. And with the High Priestess and the Hermit here, I'm also getting this message of like solitude or being alone. Like, this may be a very individual journey. You know, like maybe you work alone, or maybe you just have a really small team, or feeling alone in the sense that maybe you don't have a lot of emotionally intimate connections, whether it's out of, you know, protecting people for security reasons because you have a fear or a wound around that. But there's this element of loneliness or being alone. It doesn't feel sad though. I feel like you really thrive being more solitary. But of course, like, even in being solitary, like, you know, there's still a need or a desire to connect with others. So again, like, this whole love connection coming through and stuff like that, like, this is really making a lot of sense. But yes, okay, this is definitely like your mission or your purpose. Okay, this is so spiritual with the High Priestess and the Hermit. And I was saying too, like, from the very beginning, that you are highly intuitive. Not necessarily emotional, but highly intuitive and like so connected to source. And it's really being confirmed here with the Wheel of Fortune, the High Priestess, and the Hermit. And with this high priestess and hermit too, again, it's like this energy of secrecy, of things that not everybody knows. Having access to something that not everybody has. Whoa, okay, whoa. Okay, hold on. We have this Three of Swords, and we have the swords going straight through the eye. And then I was just looking at this Wheel of Fortune with the eye in the middle and having this Ace of Swords, and it's like pulling the swords out of the eye. You're removing the splinter. You're removing the splinter. There's definitely something being uncovered or, I don't know, solved. Or resolved, absolved. Okay. And I'm also getting this message from the you in this future incarnation that there's a lot of shifts and turns. This is a very like dynamic and exciting life. Stressful, intense. It's like there's a lot at stake here. There's a lot going on. Now I'm being taken to the show Jack Ryan. It was also a book series. Yeah, like it's very intense. You're not gonna know what boring is. Like you're not gonna be bored. Okay? You're not gonna be bored. So let's take a look at why this specific future incarnation is coming through for you. We have the Six of Pentacles. Oh, okay. This future incarnation is coming through because it's trying to give you a breadcrumb trail to lead you to some kind of understanding. I'm also being taken back to this Ace of Wands where I was talking about the spiral here and how you've been doing this or working towards this over multiple lifetimes. So there's something there. There's something there about that. Like they're trying to give you these little golden nuggets of like hints or help or answers or something like that. I know that's very vague, but that's what I'm getting with that. Let's look at your last cards now, which is anything else that you need to know here. We have two cards. So we have the Hanged Man, and we also have the Four of Wands. Where can I put you? Okay, let's just go right in the center. Okay. The Hanged Man and the Four of Wands. What else do you need to know? The other thing that you need to know about this future incarnation is that what you'll be doing will require sacrifice, but you'll be willing to make it, and in return there is a lot of stability, reward, and abundance that comes from it. It just feels like the price is a bit high. So like, for example, maybe you have to sacrifice having a romantic connection, or sacrifice having a family, or sacrifice being able to, you know, go on vacation every year, or living a regular average life, for example. But out of this, you are compensated very finely. Okay, you could be extremely wealthy if you hold such a high, you know, top secret position. Having access to information, having access to knowledge. It's like there's abundance there, but there's also an element of sacrifice, and it's something else that you need to know. So, pile 2, this is everything that I'm seeing. I would love for you to let me know down in the comments what you think, how this resonated. I want your feedback. This was so interesting. I really hope that it helped in some way. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey there, Pile 3. If you chose the Galaxite, welcome to your reading. We're going to be finding out who you will be in a future incarnation. I'm so excited. So, if you want a full breakdown of all the things that we're going to be looking at today, I did go through that in the intro. But before we get into your cards, when I was prepping for this group and meditating just now, I was getting very galactic vibes. So there's a possibility that this future incarnation that we're taking a look at isn't actually on Earth. It could be one of the very many other collectives or galaxies that are out there. But if not, then I'm feeling like, I don't know, there's something about space. Like maybe that's like the industry that you work in, like spacecraft, space engineering, things like that, or like astrology, astronomy, something to do with space. There's an otherworldliness about this group. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. Let's start off by taking a look at your personality. So we're gonna first take a look at the light attributes of your personality in this future incarnation. We have the Two of Wands. Interesting. So I just heard dualistic nature. So I'm really excited to see what your shadow card is going to be showing us here, because I'm feeling like a very strong yin yang energy, like on the flip of a switch, on the dime, like you can switch up, and that's not, it's neither good or bad, it just is. Two of Wands. You're very contemplative, and the word strategic came to mind, but it feels more like daydreaming. There's this really big aspect of daydreaming that I'm picking up. I feel like you like to be in your imagination, in your head, in your third eye, being creative, maybe imagining things, or imagining how things could be better, how they could be different, how they could be improved upon. It's like I'm picking up this energy where you're saying like, oh, if I were them, this is what I would do. If I was in that position, this is what I would do. But not in a condescending way of like telling people what they need to do, but I feel like you see things clearly, or you search for the best case outcome, the best case scenario, and you really try to focus on the positive, but there's definitely this like this feisty, fiery energy to you as well. It's like I'm picking up kind of Scorpio energy where, you know, you can sting, you can you can inflict some damage, but I don't feel like that's your true nature. It's not like you're out here trying to be malicious, but you know, you'll stand up for yourself, you'll stand up for others. But I also feel like there's this like very soft kind of Cancer energy too that's coming through. It's like delicate but fiery. Delicate but feisty. Okay. And I'm also feeling like in this future incarnation, you'll be almost kind of like a devil's advocate. It's like you really like to see both sides of a situation, or all sides of the situation, as many sides as you can see. I feel like you really like to pick things apart and put them back together in either a new way, a better way, an easier way, a way that makes more sense. There's kind of like an engineering mentality or like vibe that I'm getting here. Really cool. Okay. Oh, okay, that's so interesting. I just heard, oh my God, what is the fairy tale? Hold on. Little Red Riding Hood. You know, when she like goes to her grandma's house and the big bad wolf is all dressed up. And it's like, and she says to the wolf, like, oh, what big eyes you have. And the wolf is like, all the better to see you with, my dear. I just heard that. So maybe there's something really significant about your eyes in this future incarnation. This could be literal, or it could be talking about your third eye. Because we do have these, there are these extra eyes on the snake. And it's really standing out to me. Okay. Let's take a look and see what your shadow is being represented as. We have the Ace of Swords. Yeah. You definitely have a sting. I just heard sharp as attack. So I feel like people may see you in this like Seven of Cups, daydreamy, fantasizing kind of energy, or someone who likes to, I'm also picking up Libra energy, like someone who likes to be diplomatic and see all sides of a situation, but it's like, don't get it twisted, because I'm also feisty too, and like just because I'm nice doesn't mean that you can push me around, or doesn't mean that I can't stand up for myself, or that I won't stand up for others. So maybe you have your moon in a fire sign or Scorpio, or maybe even your Mars, because I'm like picking this up like really really quick to let people know. And I'm also picking up like how I was talking about how you like to play devil's advocate and things like that. This is also coming through in the shadow as the double-edged sword. So it's like, on one hand, it is not helpful. Well, yeah, I guess. On one hand, it can be helpful for you to, you know, play devil's advocate or look at different sides of a situation. But I also think that at times, this is at your detriment too, where maybe you're being too compassionate, too open-minded, having too many perspectives that maybe it can cause confusion or a lack of clarity, or prevents things from being able to move forward because there's a lot of complacency. Oh, that's interesting. And I'm also getting this message that something that you may struggle with is like anxiety or stress, but particularly at night when you're sleeping, like having night terrors or nightmares and things like that. Because these teeth on the Ace of Swords are really sticking out to me, and it made me think of, you know, when you, I hate these dreams so much, but it's like, you know, when you're having a dream and like your teeth are falling out or something, like that's what's coming through. So that may be something that you experience in this future incarnation, like during times of intense stress or high stress or something like that. Like that may be a kind of recurring dream or something that you have. And I also just heard like dealing with exhaustion because you like astral project a lot or astral travel a lot when you dream. So there's definitely something about the nighttime here that's really significant. Your mind is definitely very active, and so I feel like especially at nighttime you pick up on a lot of energies. So I think that in this future incarnation, like protecting your energy, especially when you're going to bed, will be really important. Because I feel like you do a lot. It's like you're supposed to be sleeping and resting and recovering, but I feel like you're still like energetically and astrally exerting a lot of energy. Wow, okay. So let's take a look at what your family situation will be like in this future incarnation. We have the Three of Cups in reverse. I just heard, why so serious? I feel like your family or your upbringing will be kind of strict. I'm picking up like Capricorn energy, so this could be maybe one of your parents' signs, or it's representing the father, or just an energy overall of like strictness, rules, curfews. You know, you better make sure that all your chores are done and your homework's all done before you go to that party. And if you do go to that party, you're gonna be home at this time, otherwise you're grounded. It's like very, very strict. Strict and maybe kind of lonely too, maybe because you don't, or you won't be able to do all of the things that you want to do. Like, you know, when you're a kid and you like always want to go to your friend's house, or like they're going to the movies or they're going to the mall and it's like you want to go but your parents won't let you. So there may be this feeling of like loneliness or being left out because like you're not allowed or you can't go to these things. It's not that it's like you never get to do anything, but it just feels like a strict household. Like the viewpoint of, oh, if you're having fun, if you're having a good time, that means you're not being serious. You're not taking things seriously. You're not working hard enough. There's no time to play. There's no time to rest. We just need to keep working. You can't take a break. Things like that. So I'm almost getting this energy where your life may be a little bit backwards. As a child, you may it's like you'll have that childlike energy, but then you'll have to kind of adapt to this environment. And I feel like in your childhood, you may be more serious. And as you grow older and get some freedom and independence to live life the way that you want to, I feel like you will kind of mellow out and have a much better balance between being serious and, you know, being an adult and things like that. But having fun, allowing yourself to play and have fun and just do what you want. Like, you know, we don't have to be working 24/7. It's not realistic. So it's like, I feel like you'll allow yourself to have these experiences, maybe things that you missed out on when you were a kid. I could also see this as, I don't think you'll have any siblings. Or if you do have siblings, they could be siblings from one of your parents' other marriages. Like I'm picking up like step siblings or half siblings, or a really large age gap where that sibling doesn't live at home with you. So there's kind of like, there's a lot of space or separation, or you feel like there is. Because I'm picking up this energy of like wanting to bond, wanting to be close, but it feeling kind of awkward or just like disconnected and not knowing how to bridge that gap. Feeling a little bit out of place. So you may kind of feel like the black sheep of your family. Okay, in this future incarnation, you're definitely a starseed. Okay, facts. Like, period. I'm not sure from where. I just heard Mintaka, but we'll see if any others come through as well. I'm also getting Pleiades now. And again, we have these eyes. With this energy of being strict and having a lot of structure and rules, it could be that yeah, it's like you really feel like you're being micromanaged, or like someone's always on top of you, someone's always breathing down your neck. I'm also picking up kind of a rebellious energy too in your like, you know, teenage years, you know, going against the grain, being like that classic teenage rebel, maybe sneaking out, maybe like, you know, telling your parents that you're going to a friend's house, but maybe you're going out somewhere instead just to get some freedom, to escape. You may feel like you want to spend as little time at home as possible. So you may spend, like, you may do extracurricular activities at school, or sign up for like plan your schedule so that you're out most of the day, hanging out with people, working, activities, volunteering, things like that as you get older. Or even as a kid, you may like join different teams and things like that, if you're allowed to. And I also just heard stepfather. So that could be a situation for some of you too. Maybe having two different homes. And maybe like one parent is really strict and one parent's not, or something like this. Because there's this dualistic nature here that keeps coming through. Wow. There's also something significant that'll happen when you're 17. I'm not too sure what this is, but I'm getting this visual of like someone, it's like you're like moving away from home, but it's like they're getting on a bus or a train or something and like going to a different city. And it's like they have their suitcases or they have their stuff packed up. So that could be something. Maybe like you'll be going away for school, or just like moving out, you know, trying to be independent, trying to create your own life, do things on your own without having your parents' support. I mean, they I'm not saying that they won't support you, but I just get this really strong feeling of wanting to break free, wanting to go off, wanting to do things your way, even if it's really hard because you're young and you don't have the experience, you've never been on your own before. You have to, know things like how to do your laundry, how to cook, how to pay rent, how to get a job, like all these different things. But there's a willingness there. It's not like, it's like, I got this. Like, I will figure this out because this is my only option kind of thing. So I feel like your adulthood is going to be very different from your childhood. And I also think that you'll really start to bloom once you get a bit older, once you kind of go off on your own. I really see your social circle expanding a lot. And whatever happened or will happen in your childhood, while it may be, very difficult experiences, I feel like that is what fuels you to really make sure that you experience and enjoy life. It's like I spent so much time feeling limited and constrained that now I just want to go for things. Like, fear isn't even a part of this equation. It's completely irrelevant. Like, I feel like I owe it to myself to go out there and do things that I want to do, that I've always wanted to do, that I'm curious about, because I never had that freedom before and now I do. So it's like, I owe it to myself. I owe it to my inner child. Wow, okay. Let's take a look and see what your occupation may be. This group is so interesting because the first two groups were heavily focused on career and there wasn't a lot of like personal information coming through. And this group, it feels like the opposite. I'm like really getting a lot of details and visuals on your personal life, but like nothing about career. So I'm really interested to see what this is going to be. We have the Six of Pentacles. This came out in another group for career. So I heard social services and working with kids in the system. So that could be what you do as a career, maybe because of certain experiences in your childhood, or even if you didn't have the exact same experiences as some of these kids, it's like whatever you did go through gave you the compassion and gave you this broad perspective to be able to hold space for others, sympathize with them, empathize with them, and help them through. I'm also picking up things like school counselor, school principal, a teacher, nonprofit, charity. There's something about working with local communities. So whether it's the local community that you live in, but I'm also seeing like someone who travels abroad to other places to volunteer their services. So this could be like Doctors Without Borders. This could be building schools. This could be teaching English or teaching a language to children in another country or something like that. You have a really generous heart, and I feel like part of where some of your pain comes from your childhood is like being so full of life, so full of joy and energy, and not having proper outlets to put that in. And so I feel like when you get older, you're going to be really passionate about giving back and being generous to others, helping people in situations that are similar in nature to what you experience, because you know what it's like to feel limited, feel held back, not be able to go out and do things, whether it's because you're financially limited, whether it's because it's a strict household, or whether it's because, you don't have access to certain things. I just feel like you're really going to want to help connect people with solutions or with what it is that they need, or at least give them the knowledge and the wisdom and the resources to get that ball rolling for them. There's like a very, very sweet energy coming through from you in this future incarnation. And whatever it is that you do, wow, okay, so okay. What I was gonna say is whatever it is that you do, you're so dedicated to it. You like literally will show up every single day and put the work in, like work long hours, work weekends, work holidays, work nights, like, because you're so passionate and you really, you feel it. You feel it. This isn't just like a job to you. This is like, it's serious. It's your life. Like, you feel so strongly about it. So it's important to you. And so you show up to do it. And then they're showing me, Queer Eye. So it's giving me this energy of like someone who works so hard to provide for the community, help others out, really selfless, really generous and hospitable. And it's like other people are going to want to return the favor. Other people are going to want to give back to you. Other people are going to want to be generous to you. Other people are going to want to help you out in any way that they can. It's like, I feel like you'll have this network of people where it's like, oh shit, like, a pipe burst in my house and now there's water everywhere, and someone being like, oh, you know, like, actually my dad's a plumber, so I'll have him, you know, head over to your place to check it out. And it's like people just want to help you because of what you do for so many others, which is so beautiful. Wow. I love this. And whatever this is, like, it's so fulfilling. It brings you so much joy. It's like you will literally just jump out of bed every morning. Like, no one's gonna have to wake you up. There's no snoozing that alarm. It's like you're up, you're at it, let's go. Like, that's your attitude every day. Like, let's fucking get it. You're so passionate. I love it. Wow, okay. Let's take a look now and see what's going on with your love life. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So whatever's going on with your love life, it's slow to grow. Which isn't a bad thing. I feel like it's coming through in a very sweet way. Like, there's no rush, there's no pressure, there's no stress. It's like, let's just be, let's just go with the flow. Like, I feel like you won't be really concerned with like labels and like, what are we, like, things like that. I feel like your relationship or relationships will evolve naturally. But there's like one specific or one significant connection that's coming through where it's like, it's slow to grow. It's happening very naturally. The phrase, like, good things take time, or you can't rush a good thing, are coming to mind. So I feel like you and this person will spend a long time together. And I feel like this person will also be involved with whatever it is that you do for your occupation. Like your right-hand man, your right-hand woman kind of situation. And okay, despite whatever challenges or struggles that you go through in this life, like, you're so heavily protected and watched over. I know that we were talking about that earlier, where it's like you may feel like in your childhood there's just like you're being micromanaged or you know, something like that, because we literally have eyes in all of these cards except for the Ace of Swords, but the Ace of Swords talks about vision and clarity too. So we have, you know, we have an eye here, there's one here, we have eyes there, we have eyes there. You're definitely heavily protected and looked after, and this is definitely obviously like your spiritual team, but also your starseed family, your soul tribe. Like, I just feel like you're so guided and looked after. And I also feel like this person of interest here when it comes to love is also really protective of you. Because I'm just picking up this energy of like you being so sweet and like precious and generous and caring and compassionate, and it's like, we need to protect you. Like, you are so rare, you're so pure, you're so just love and light and joy that like, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I support you? How can I help you? Yeah, whatever you felt like you were lacking in your childhood, you will be receiving tenfold in your adult phase of life. And I'm also getting this message of, with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse here, that you and your person may be from different countries or have different ethnicities or cultures or something like that. So that's interesting. But now I want to see what society will be like. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. Wow. The society that you'll be living in this future incarnation feels really stable. It feels really happy and peaceful. It feels like progress has been made or is being made. And there's a big sense of community. Like, community is really important. Like, we look after our people. We look after our neighbors. We look after our friends. Because the Ten of Pentacles can talk about family, but it doesn't feel like the family that we were talking about here with the Three of Cups reverse. This is like chosen family. This is friends that become family. Or clients or customers or partners, collaborators, volunteers. It's like, it's such a tight-knit community that you live in, or that you're a part of, and it's like, this is your life. Now I'm picking up this energy that it's not, because I feel like you'll be in a big city or in a city or something like that. So I'm kind of feeling like, in a general sense, society isn't necessarily like this, but like, this is your society we're talking about. This is your community that you're a part of. It's like you're trying to bring people together. You're trying to get people to come back together, to be more unified, to be on the same team, on the same page. You'll really be a pillar in your community. Yeah, I just heard bridging the gap again. It's like you don't want to feel, and you don't want other people to feel that disconnect that you felt in your childhood. So in your adult life, you're really going to do your best to create community and bring people together. That's so beautiful. Wow. Like, I'm getting community events. I'm seeing like little farmers markets or pop-up events, socializing events, bake sales, fundraisers. Like, if you have a little shop, getting to know your business neighbors, like, I don't know, going to the local bakery every day and like, yeah, really just being involved with other people's lives in a helpful way. So I want to take a look at what your biggest challenge is going to be in this incarnation. We have judgment. So for some of you, oh yeah, because I also, okay. For some of you, some of this disconnect or maybe feeling like you don't fit in, feeling like an outcast could be because you're, or you will be part of the LGBTQ community. Because this rainbow is really sticking out. And I also got that Queer Eye reference before, which is a show, if you didn't know. If you don't know, you gotta watch it. It's literally so good. I cry every time. But anyways, I'm actually taking this judgment card quite literally. Like, I feel like one of your biggest challenges is going to be this feeling of judgment or feeling misunderstood by others. Feeling really different and maybe outcast in that sense, but it's like later on, like you find your people. You really find your people, and it becomes really important for you to help others do the same thing. Because to me, this isn't feeling like you judging yourself. It's like, I feel like you're really connected and you know yourself deeply, and I don't feel like you are hard on yourself. I feel like this is something that comes from others. It's just dealing with other people's projections, other people's bullshit, other people's limited mind frame, other people's small visions. I'm getting like it. What I heard was small town mentality. So maybe you like literally will be from a small town and then move away to the city, because I was picking that up, like moving away from home and things like that. But it could also just be a metaphor of like feeling like you're surrounded by people who have very limited vision or very closed minds, and having to deal with that, maybe dealing with the backlash of you being you, or what you're doing, or what you're trying to create. Even though it's something beautiful, even though it's something that is bringing people together, I feel like there's still going to be this element of, you know, like haters gonna hate. Like, you know what I mean? Whether you're doing what you love or not, haters are gonna hate. So I feel like that's kind of the main challenge that I'm seeing here. But in terms of your biggest blessing, we have justice. Wow, that's beautiful. And again, we have more eyes. Wow. You definitely have a clear vision of what it is that you want, what you want your life to look like, what you want the world to be like. And I wouldn't be surprised if in this lifetime you have psychic abilities like clairvoyance or mediumship or things like this, because like all of this eye imagery is sticking out so strongly to me. And there's something about, I just heard Eyes are the Window to the Soul, and I'm hearing that song by Cascade that's called Eyes. So again, it's like there could be something about your physical, literal eyes that are very beautiful, that are very magnetic, that just draw people in. You may have the ability to just like see through people, see through the BS, see through the lies. You see their energy, you see people's souls, like you really connect with people. And that's why you're going to be so excellent at bringing people together and creating community. But the biggest, I love that the blessing here is justice, because this could be so many things, like justice for all of the hardship that you've gone through, justice for all of the judgment that you faced. And I was picking up that Libra energy earlier too, and we do have it coming through with justice here. It's like the scales are being balanced. Whatever tip the scales in one way in one part of your life, is going to completely turn. Like, this is what I'm saying. I feel like the first part of your life and your adulthood are going to be very, very different, like black and white here. There could also be a certain contract or collaboration or partnership or something that that is offered to you or that you are a part of creating that really changes things for you. Whether it's like a work contract or a business contract, getting some kind of like government approval, like a grant or a loan or a license or permission to do something. This could even be connecting with the right people, because Justice is ruled by Libra in the 7th house, and this is our connection with others. So another blessing is, yes, connecting to your community, connecting to your tribe, connecting to people who really resonate with you on a soul level and feel like family. Nothing is forced, it's all natural. These are people who really care about you, who really support you, who want to see you win. This is part of the blessing. And again, we have the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus here on the Justice card. So a lot of protection, heavily, heavily protected. And I'm also being taken to the weighing of the heart ceremony. So there is definitely something about your heart, your soul that is just so pure and full of love and light, which is what I was saying before, where it's like there's a lot of divine guidance, a lot of divine intervention in your life because you're here on your mission. And so, of course, you're going to be protected. You know, we're protected anyways, but especially when it comes to a mission or a purpose or what you feel like you're here to do, it's just like amplified even more. Okay, so when it comes to the lesson to be learned, we have the sun. Yeah, this makes so much sense. And like, again, do you see that massive eye right there? Oh, and we have another bull. Maybe you'll have strong Taurus placements or second house placements. But with the lesson to be learned here, it's about reconnecting with your inner child and allowing your inner child to come to the forefront and thrive. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like reliving your childhood as an adult in the way that you always wished you could have experienced it when you were actually a child. Being able to fully express your creativity, express your authenticity, allow yourself to shine, allowing yourself to be seen and recognized and celebrated. And again, there's this element like, yes, your inner child, but I feel heavily that you'll be working with children in this lifetime that we're talking about here. Now we're going to find out what special message a message from the you in this future incarnation to the current you now. And we have the 4 of Wands. Special message. Okay, I just heard take the risk. Half the fun is not knowing how it's going to go. Okay, so if there's some kind of like a project or something you want to start, whether it has to do with career or a hobby or a lifestyle or something like this, if you've been like sitting on some kind of idea or decision that you've been wanting to make, you're being encouraged to go for it. It's actually going to be really successful and bring you a lot of joy. And this is so interesting because we have these teeth again, and I feel like we're coming full circle because at the beginning I was talking about how, you know, maybe you'll have these stress dreams where your teeth are falling out and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that that has to do with like insecurity or stress or something. I remember Googling it once. But now we have these teeth here and they're like bright and shining and like intact. And it's like, I feel like you're being encouraged to be more confident in yourself, be more confident in your abilities and your ideas, and to be more willing to take risks when it comes to things that you feel passionate about or things that would bring you joy. If you feel excited about it, there's a reason for that, okay? And it's our excitement and our joy, those are clues for us to follow, okay? So this is a special message that's come through. It's going to be different for everyone, but whatever thing popped up when I was talking about this, where it's like, yeah, I've really been wanting to write a book, or I've really been wanting to, you know, get back into Pilates, or I've been wanting to paint my house yellow. Do it. All right, let's take a look at why this future incarnation specifically is coming through. And we have the Magician. Look at that eye. Oh my God. Interesting. The reason that this particular future incarnation is coming through is because it kind of ties into this message here. You're really being encouraged to separate or branch off and do your own thing. There's something about your solar plexus and feeling more confident in yourself, knowing who you are, being confident in your abilities and capabilities, and your creativity as well. I just heard you don't have to wait for this future incarnation for things to happen. It's like you have the power, you have control, you have free will. You can create now. You can do it now. You don't need to wait for Monday. You don't need to wait for the first of the month. You don't need to wait for the new year. You don't need to wait till you have this amount of money or this many friends or these connections. Start now with what you have. And you'll build upon it as you go down this path. You're more equipped than you realize. You have a lot more than you realize. And it's really about being confident in yourself and trying not to compare yourself to other people or your path to other people's path. Is really a strong message that I'm getting here. But let's take a look at your last card now. This is going to represent anything else that you need to know about this future incarnation. And we have the Knight of Cups. In this future incarnation, your heart is your guide. You are very connected to your intuition. You're very connected to your passions, your emotions, your inner child. And it's like, this is what guides you. It's like what I was just saying, how our excitement, our passion, what brings us joy, these are clues for us to follow. And this is exactly what you're doing in this future incarnation. You're letting your heart guide the way, and you're not being overly logical, overly serious, which I feel like will be a very big contrast to the first part of your life. But it's like once you're able to, you're really letting your heart lead the way and going for what feels good and what brings you fulfillment, what fills you up. And that's just how you're going to live your life from that moment on. So pile 3, this is everything that I'm seeing for you. I would love for you to let me know down in the comments what you thought about this and how it resonated. I thought this reading was really, really interesting and super different from the other two groups, which is really exciting. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so, so much for letting me read for you today. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey, Pile 4, if you chose the Lapis Lazuli Tower, welcome to your reading. Today we're going to be finding out who you'll be in a future incarnation. I'm so excited. Okay. Wow, you guys have a great energy. So before we get into the cards, which if you want a full breakdown of what we're going to be getting into, I talked about it in the intro, so you can go back and have a listen. But before we get into the cards, when I was first preparing for this group, I was strongly being taken to like ancient Greek and ancient Egypt, which I said this in 3 out of the 4 groups, but I know it's a future incarnation that we're talking about, but time's not really linear, so there we go. This tarot deck specifically is an ancient Greek inspired deck, but I don't think I've ever really specifically like gotten that vibe just because of the deck I'm using, if that makes sense. Like the combination of this deck and this Lapis Lazuli, like it was really coming through strong. Ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, so that could be significant to you. But when I was meditating on your energy just now, I was being shown zebras, and then I was also being taken to stallions, and then they were showing me that scene from Shrek 2 where they steal the love potion and they drink it, and then when they wake up in the morning, Donkey's like, I'm a stallion, baby. So, I don't know, zebras, horses, something to do with freedom, intuition, sensitivity, travel, quirkiness, work ethic. I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. These are all things that come to mind when I think about zebras and horses. So let's just get on into the cards and see what's up. So let's start off by taking a look at your personality. First, by looking at the light aspects of your personality. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Wow, that's so beautiful. Yeah, wow, okay. So in this future incarnation, generosity may as well be your first name. You're very generous in all aspects. Like, I feel like you are so generous in your heart. You are so loving, and you give your love away so freely. Like, really compassionate, really caring. Like, especially as a child, it's like, you know, sometimes when we're kids, we're, you know, little wild childs, and like maybe we don't have manners, maybe we misbehave and stuff like that. And then as we get older, we learn to be more kind and caring. Sometimes that happens, but I feel like you in this future incarnation, it's like your natural state of being is generous. Like, you're the kind of kid that would share their lunch with someone else who didn't have a lunch, or like saving insects that are, I don't know, drowning, or like I'm seeing like a little kid who finds a bird with a broken wing and like brings it home and, you know, nurses it back to life, or like finds an abandoned cat and like brings it home and is like, this is our family now. Like, you're also the kind of person where you're really reliable and you always show up for people, whether it's like helping a friend move from one apartment to another, or if someone's having an art exhibition, it's like you'll go and show your support. If someone you know just went through a breakup, like you're there. It's like I feel like you just always show up for people. And you really want to help any way you can. I'm getting like Libra and Cancer energy. And this is coming through like really, really strongly. And I don't really know why it's coming through, but I feel like in this future incarnation, you will be a female. I don't usually ever look at genders and things like that because I don't think it's relevant. Like, I think energy is more important. But I don't know why it's coming through so strongly. I feel like you will be a female in this future incarnation. That didn't come through in any of the groups. So for some reason, it's significant here. I'm not sure why. But there we go. Okay, let's take a look at what your shadow aspects to your personality will be. We have the Ace of Swords. That's interesting because this came out in another group too as the shadow aspect. Maybe even 3 groups. Or was it 2? I don't remember. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. On a completely different note, it has nothing to do with this card. In this future incarnation, you will be like a rainbow child or an indigo child or a crystal child or something like that. I don't know a lot about those things. I've like read about it and done some research and things, but like I'm no expert. So if that resonates with you, feel free to look into that. But that came through really, really strongly. And I know enough about it to understand how it makes sense for the energy that I was feeling when we were talking about this 6 of Pentacles. Because what I'm getting with your shadow energy with the Ace of Swords here is that I feel like you are going to be really hard on yourself or struggle with negative thinking or self-doubt or maybe dealing with thinking patterns that aren't even yours, like, absorbing what's in your environment, which is, of course, natural, especially as children. But I feel like because you're so empathic and sensitive that I feel like this is something that you'll struggle with. And it's so interesting because, like I said, the Ace of Swords came up as the shadow attribute for a different group, but it's like completely different energy. Like, I feel like here it's not really about other people who are, mean to you or say bad things or something like that. Like, those things may happen, but that's not, I don't feel like it has as big of an effect as your own narratives that you tell yourself. I'm also getting strong Pisces energy too. Cancer, Libra, Pisces. I'm also getting this message that you may struggle to express your own needs because you're such a giver. So it may be hard for you to identify or express what you need. Receiving might be difficult for you sometimes. And I also just heard bit off more than you can chew. So you may overextend yourself, especially because you're so generous. Like, you may be really busy all the time because you're always helping people out. You're always dropping what you're doing and, you know, offering assistance, offering this, doing that, going here, supporting them, contributing this. And at times it'll be manageable, and at times it will be too much, and you may deal with things like burnout and exhaustion, or, oh, okay, that makes sense. So in that situation where it's like you've bit off more than you can chew, it's in those moments where this mindset, this negative voice or whatever this is, really creeps in and like makes things really hard for you because you're overwhelmed, you're tired, you're stressed, you've been giving a lot, you don't have a lot of energy, and so it's harder for you to kind of control or tame these negative thoughts that you may struggle with. Yeah, I feel like your mind can definitely work against you sometimes. Even just like struggling to overcome difficult emotions. Because I'm picking up like really strong water sign energy, or like very highly sensitive, empathic, clairsentient kind of energy. So like you feel things deeply and it really affects you. So that's something that you may just struggle with sometimes, is especially if you're stressed or busy, you can feel a lot more up and down. So this is something that you would have to work on kind of balancing out for your own, you know, well-being and, you know, to make life easier and more comfortable for you. Let's take a look at what your family life will be like. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. I love that we have a horse coming through. The Knight of Pentacles for your family life. I just heard humble. Your family life growing up may live in a smaller town or a more rural area, like more country, more in nature, less. It's okay. It's not like way out in the country. I feel like you'll be nearby the city, but you won't be in the city. Much more rural. What I'm picking up, this energy feels like a humble family doing, you know, farm work and country living type stuff, and are religious as well and go to church every Sunday or go to the temple every week or something like that, and like being homeschooled maybe, or going to Sunday school or something like that. But it doesn't feel overly conservative or restrictive in that sense. It just feels like, I don't know, just like a peaceful, slow, like average life. Like I don't really, how do I explain this? I feel like you would have, or you will really enjoy the place that you grow up, the area you grow up. I feel like you'll be outdoors a lot and explore the area. It's like I'm picturing a farm or somewhere that has like a lot of land, a lot of property. Like you can go explore. You like go to different parts of the property and like help your parents do chores or do work, like, oh, okay, like we gotta go feed the chickens, or okay, I don't know, let's rake these leaves over here to make room, or okay, we're gonna plant some carrots today. You know, like things like that, taking care of the land, taking care of the animals, growing produce, things like that, but not on a commercial level. It's like it's just for you and your family. And I feel like you'll have a lot of siblings, like 3 or 4 or 5. So it'll be a large family. But I feel like you'll really enjoy it. You'll really enjoy your upbringing and like learning the different lessons. Like it teaches you a lot. It makes you value, you value a plate of food in front of you so much more when you understand all of the work that goes into, growing that food, harvesting that food, or taking care of that animal, or whatever the case is. Yeah, animals are coming through really strong, which, ties in really well with your empathic nature. Like empaths and animals go together like PB&J, okay? Like it's a match made in heaven. So I feel like you'll really, really enjoy your time. Like you'll spend as much time as you can outside, like with your animals, like goats, cows, sheep, dogs, chickens, like whatever. It's like you will love it. Wow, yeah. Beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at what your occupation may be. Ooh, we have the Ace of Wands. I think this came out in another group too for the occupation. Ace of Wands. I just heard like from humble beginnings, but look where we're at now. Because it's interesting, like this Ace of Wands contrasts so much with this Knight of Pentacles energy that I was picking up. So I feel like, yeah, you're gonna grow up on this farm, family farm. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be amazing. And not that you ever lose that part of yourself, but it's like, I feel like you will go to the city and like get your big break or become really successful at what you do. The Ace of Wands is raw passion. Like whatever this is brings you so much joy and fulfillment, and you're always excited to do it. You're motivated, you're inspired, and you just want to get out there every day and do it. I feel like for this group, this occupation, it's like you don't look at it as an occupation. You don't look at it as a job or a career. It's like you're just doing what you're passionate about. It's like, it's so obvious to you. Like it won't even dawn on you that there is like, that you could do other things. It's like, why on earth would I do that? Like, this is my thing. This is my jam. Like, this is what I'm doing. So it feels like something that you will always be connected to. There won't be any of this. Okay, here's the thing. There won't be doubt that this is what you're supposed to do, but the doubt will creep in about your ability to do it. You may struggle sometimes with like maybe imposter syndrome, or like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. I'm sure there's people out there who are better at this than me, struggle with things like that. But at the same time, you overcome your doubt every single time because you can't ignore how passionate you feel about this. Even if you wanted to give up, you would get back to that point where you're like, fuck, I can't give up. Like, I love doing this. Like, I have to try it again. Like, I can't imagine not doing this. So I feel like you will overcome these struggles that you have, but it feels like this kind of cyclical thing where it's like, this happens to all of us. We have those moments where we doubt ourselves, but we always pick ourselves back up again. And I feel like that's you. And I feel like what you'll do will have such a wide impact because he's holding the world in his hands here. So it's going to have a really big impact. This could be something online, or a business that you create, a nonprofit, a charity. I could also see this as your, whatever you do for work. Maybe it also includes travel as well. So you go to different parts of the world and you get to meet different people, like really step outside of, you know, the farm that you grew up on. Oh, I'm hearing that song, You're Gonna Go Far Kid by The Offspring. I love that. Yeah, I feel like you'll get to this point when you grow up and you're like later on in life and you're gonna look back and you're gonna just laugh and be like, if 8-year-old me knew where I was gonna end up right now, that I would be like here in this position and like had all these experiences and done all these things, like they would geek out. Like like they would so not believe me, or like they would think that I'm so cool. There's like a real sense of pride and just like, I don't know, you know that feeling when you laugh because something ended up just like working out so perfectly that you're just like, all you can do is laugh and just feel like, wow, like, okay, all right, I see you. But you're definitely going to be some kind of authority, leader, role model, someone to look up to, someone to aspire to be. There's something that you're gonna start something, like start a movement. Initiate change, create change, because I got chills. Because this whole time it's been giving me this very strong vibe of like someone who is an activist, whether this is about the environment, animals, people, like whatever it is. It's like this very strong activist energy. So I feel like there's something you're gonna start, like a global movement or a movement in your country or a movement in your city, and it's like whatever it is that you do or you start, it's just the beginning, and it's gonna have this ripple effect that ends up spreading so much further than whatever it is that you started. Okay, let's take a look at what your love life is going to be like. So we have the 7 of Wands. Interesting. You're gonna have a lot of suitors and a lot of people really vying for your attention. Okay, I'm also getting this message that you could also be like a marriage counselor or something. I'm not really picking up a lot with this, to be honest. The 7 of Wands, because it doesn't feel like, you know, like you and a person and you guys are like, you know, arguing and, you know, tumultuous and things like that. It doesn't feel like that. I feel like you're like not about that. You're like, I'm not gonna stay in any situation that is like that. So I feel like you won't really, not that you won't date or have relationships or like be married or have a family, but it's like I feel like you're You're really focused on your passions, and I feel like it's people in general, like who are fighting for your attention. Okay, this is starting to make more sense now. So this is not just talking about romantic love, which is how I intended it to be. The message that's coming through for this group for love has to do with all of your connections. All of anything or anyone that you love is what's coming through with the Seven of Wands. So we talked about before how you're always showing up, you're very generous, sometimes you bite off more than you can chew. A lot of things are going to be fighting for your attention. Your spouse, your children, your job, your clients, your business partners, your hobbies, your health, your rest, your play. It's like everything's fighting for your attention because you have a lot going on. But it doesn't feel like a bad thing. It's just like, how do I balance this? How do I manage this? How can I don't want to spread myself thin, but I also have my hands in a lot of pots, and I want to be 100% at everything I do. So like, how can I do that? Like, do I need a bigger team? Can I delegate things? Can I outsource things? Can I get help with some things so that I can continue doing all of this, but that I'm also being supported too? And it's interesting because I feel like you'll be quite good at managing and balancing this stuff because of your upbringing and like having, some responsibilities of like, okay, we have animals to take care of. Okay, we have a garden we need to take care of. Okay, you have homework. It's like learning how to balance all of these priorities. So I feel like you'll be very good at it. But it's just going to be that a lot of things are really fighting for your attention. So when it comes to what society will be like, we have the Eight of Cups. This is interesting because I feel like whenever this future incarnation is, society will be at a point where something political will have changed, and it feels like it's a change for the better. It's like we're leaving something behind that wasn't working, and we're going to try to do things right. We're going to try to do things better. Now this could be just in like one specific aspect of like, okay, maybe there's a new law or bill that's passed that, better protects the environment, like a recycling program or, whatever the case. Or maybe this could be about having better social services like mental health care or childcare services or, free health care or more affordable schooling or affordable housing. Like there's some kind of aspect of society that will be kind of going through this transition where it's like we're leaving something behind because we're really trying to do something better or do something right. And this could even, I just got chills. Like this could be what you're involved in. This could be what you're trying to start. Like we need to be doing better at something. And leading by example and really trying to show people that there's a way, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that it doesn't need to be like this. Like things could be better. We don't need to keep perpetuating the same cycles. We don't need to be fighting. So this is very powerful. Wow. Whoever you will be is certainly going to be someone who's very important. I mean, everybody is important, but I mean, like, the position and the influence that you'll have will really make a big difference. Not just to, your social circle. It's a lot bigger than that. Which is interesting because there's another group that had similar energy. So when it comes to what your biggest challenge will be, we have the Chariot in reverse. So your biggest challenge is going to be getting started, getting your foot off the ground, getting your foot in the door. Also because I feel like there's a lot of things that you're passionate about, and it may take you some time to really narrow in on like what you're going to focus on, because I feel like a lot's going to be important to you, but you're going to have to commit yourself to something, or at least start off by committing yourself to something, because you can't, especially when you're starting off, like, it's a lot harder to start a bunch of different things at once and get all of those things off the ground, versus if you just start with one thing and once that gets going, then start something else, and like that. So I feel like because you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of things that are important to you, you may just have a hard time figuring out how to direct that energy so that it really works for you and doesn't work against you. Because if we don't have a certain direction, this chariot's just gonna go around and whichever way it wants, if we're not directing it. So that could be, or that'll be something that will be a challenge for you in this future incarnation. But when it comes to your biggest blessing, we have the Three of Cups. Wow. You'll really be celebrated. You're going to have such an amazing support group. You're going to have such an amazing group of friends, family, really harmonious connections. There's going to be a lot of fun and enjoyment in your life because you're doing what you love every single day. You're doing what you're passionate about every single day. And it's like, the more that you do that, the more your heart grows and expands. And it's like, it's just this positive feedback loop of the act of you doing what you love, even though you're pouring your energy into that by doing that, it fills you up because you just love it so much. So I see a very full life for you, something that is filled with joy and love and passion, and something that you get to share with a lot of people. You'll be meeting a lot of people, a lot of new people, through whatever it is that you do here, whatever this cause is, whatever this business is, whatever this idea is. Yeah, you're definitely a light worker. You're a healer. You're here to spread your light. You're here to spread joy. You're here to just be you. And you being you is going to bring you a lot of success and abundance and happiness. And I think that's amazing. Okay. When it comes to the lesson to be learned in this future incarnation, we have the Five of Swords. I just heard the lesson is to learn that you can't save everybody or you can't save everything. Learning that at the end of the day, the only thing we can truly control is ourselves, our actions and reactions, what we choose to do, how we choose to behave, how we think, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, the life that we live, and that you can't make other people do that. You can't make other people see all you can do is save yourself, be your authentic self, live in your truth, do what you love and what brings you joy. And that shows other people that they can also save themselves, that they can also do what they love, that they can also stand in their truth. And I think I said this before, but it's really a case of learning to lead by example. It's like, be the change you wish to see in the world. So instead of just, it's like practicing what you preach, you know? Sometimes when we have a good idea, it's like we'll try to get people onto it and we'll try to convince them. But how often does that really work? You know what I mean? Like, when people tell us to do something, I think it's just a natural ego reaction to be like, no, like, don't tell me what to do. We have to let people get there of their own accord. They need to be able to come to their own conclusions. So instead of using energy trying to convince people, it's like, I'm just going to live it. I'm going to stop talking about it. I'm just going to start doing it, and it'll inspire the right people to do the same thing. And I feel like that is going to be your lesson to be learned. So now we're going to take a look at a special message from the you in this future incarnation to the current you. So we have the Page of Wands and we have the Two of Wands. Page of Wands, Two of Wands. Okay, okay. I'm hearing Mr. Brightside by the Killers, but it's kind of more in like in a funny way. Like, you know how the song starts, I'm coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine, but I heard I'm coming out of my cave and I've been doing just fine. And then there's this video that I originally found through Kino Tarot, and it's this little kid. If you just search on YouTube, thumbs up for rock and roll, you'll find the video. It's this like little kid giving a very, very amazing motivational speech after he's learned how to ride a bike. So I was hearing that song, I was hearing thumbs up for rock and roll, and the point is, the message here is, what are you waiting for? It's time to get going. It's time to leave the nest. It's time to get out there. Time to leave your comfort zone. It's time for you to embark yesterday. Okay? Like the message, the energy here is like, buddy, the race already started, or like, it's time to go. I don't know. Maybe you've been sitting on something. Maybe you've been procrastinating on something, some project, a passion project, a new adventure, pursuing something, applying for something, putting yourself out there, launching something, publishing something, whatever it is, it's time to do it. You've learned everything that you needed to learn, and you've already done everything that you need to do. The only thing left is to do the thing. It's like you've written your essay and it's edited, it's done. This is the final draft. The only thing left to do is click the submit button. It's like, it's time to go. It's time to, you need a little push. It's feeling like a baby bird who's learning how to fly and leave the nest. So it'll be different for everyone, but whatever it is that came to mind when I was talking about that is what it's time to do. Okay, moving on, we are going to be looking at why this particular future incarnation is what came through for you today. We have the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so what I'm picking up with this Two of Pentacles is I feel like the reason that you maybe haven't like moved forward with this is because you're maybe stuck between two different things. Maybe you have two paths, two options, maybe two things that you're passionate about, and you're like, man, like I really just don't know what I should do. Maybe you've been analyzing the situation for a long time. You've been trying to figure things out, collecting more information, doing research, and maybe you feel a little bit stuck. The message is, like I literally heard something needs to be given the axe. So it's kind of going back to what I was saying before, where you'll need to really figure out what your priority is. Like, what is it you want to commit to? What is it you want to focus on? So this could be something that you're dealing with right now. Whether or not this specific situation resonates, you could be going through a similar thing now. And the message is to focus on one thing right now. And because I kept hearing like, focus on what you're building. What are you building? What are you creating? So there's a need to really get in touch with yourself, with your heart, and commit yourself to one thing. It doesn't mean that you're limited to this one thing forever, but at least for starting out, okay? And it's okay to change your mind. Maybe you're scared of making the wrong decision and like looking foolish or naive and like you don't know what you're doing. But truly, the only way you're going to know for sure is by doing it. So pick one thing, start it, go down that path, see where it takes you. If you don't like where it's going, you can change your path. Oh, I just saw a hawk fly by. So confirmation from spirit, you're being supported, you're being guided. You can ask for signs and advice on what to do, but I feel like what would help you the most is really getting in touch with your intuition and your heart space to feel your way through this and feel what the best decision is for you. Wow, okay. Our final cards here are going to represent anything else that you need to know about this past life. Or past life, future life. Whoa. Okay, so we have the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Wands. Wow, that's beautiful. The 10 of Cups and the 8 of Wands. Yeah, this incarnation is going to bring so much fulfillment. Things are going to move rapidly for you. Everything is going to flow. I just can't emphasize enough like how much joy and happiness there is here, especially with these dolphins. Dolphins, 10 of Cups, this 3 of Cups here. An abundance of joy and happiness. This is like the happy ending. And a happy family life as well is something else that's coming through. Another message of what else you need to know is that once you spark the flame, things are going to really pick up and move really fast. And maybe that's something that you won't be expecting. Just like how quickly things are going to move along, how fast things are happening and changing. But it feels like very positive, happy things with the 8 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. It's not like scary change because things are falling apart or bad things are happening. It's like really great things are happening. So pile 4, this is everything that I'm seeing. I would really love for you to let me know down in the comments what you thought and how this resonated. This was such an interesting reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!